Hello and welcome to another episode of What's on Your Mind. I'm your host, Nimari Bewu, and I'm excited because the show is called What's on Your Mind because mental health, I think, is a very important topic and it kind of centers around everything. You can bring it back to how everything in life impacts our mental health, but May is especially important because it is Mental Health Awareness Month. So to kick off the month, I thought, let me have some friends in and let's just chat. Let's just talk about this year. This year has been a year for me, and I want to talk about it and how I'm dealing with it mentally and some changes I'm making. And I want to talk to my gal pals about it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to kick off Mental Health Awareness Month with a mental health check-in for 2025. My friend Vanity will be joining us later. Right now we have Mandy, who I'm so excited about having. Mandy and I have been friends since middle school or high school? Middle school.
Middle school.
Yeah, we've been friends forever. We've seen each other through many stages of our lives and stayed friends through it all because we love each other. So I'm so excited she is joining us. Hello, Mandy.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Do you want to tell everybody just a little bit about you?
Sure. I never really know what to say when
You're
people
right.
ask me to tell them a
Well,
little
like
about.
what? Okay, how about what do you do? What's your favorite hobby? And tell me one talent.
Oof. Okay. So I am a graduate admissions counselor at a local university. That's my job. And then what I do is I am also a fur mama to 2 dogs and 2 cats. So that's also a big part of who I am. And then what do I do for fun? Was that the
Yeah.
second? Okay. I mean, I hang out with the dogs and the cats. Usually not at the same time because my dogs scare my cats. So we kind of try to rotate them out a little bit.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get them out for walks more because it just feels good and it gets their
Yeah.
energy out and like I feel better after and it's not something that
Mm.
I've always done. So I'm trying to create that new habit for myself. And I'm just using the dogs as an excuse to create that habit, but everybody wins, right?
It's a perfect excuse. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
And I guess a talent. I'm a musician. So
She loves music.
true
That's how we
story.
bonded, our love of music. She's a great singer.
Well,
Okay.
really, we bonded over our love of musical theater.
Musical theory, yeah, we're musical junkies. All right, so 2025. Let me tell you, like, I'll kick it off. I started with like this is gonna be my year. Like, all right, like 2022 was like really rough, knocked me on my butt. 2023, I started like stabilizing a little bit, and then it felt like 2024 was like breathing again. Like I was slowly getting back into like my goals that I'd set. Quick back history, like 10 years ago. And if you are watching this and you follow me on Instagram, I've been doing a lot of like reflecting and dwelling and like talking about the past and my changes. So I've been talking about it nonstop this week. But like 10 years ago or so, I decided I kind of wanted to do like a shift in my life, like, and wanted to just change a bunch of things, like where I was working, where I was living, all of those things. And I really like worked my butt off and did it. Like I changed it. Like the life I'm living now is like a 180 from the life I was living back then. Yay me. But lately I've felt like it's like that time to move to the next like level. Like that's not that things are like above or below things, but just like as a way of describing it, right? Like I'm ready for the next transition period because like where I am is not at the end of my goals. Like when I wrote down those goals all those years ago and like the steps by steps of them, I'm not at the end, but I'm trucking along nicely, a little bit slowed down from where I thought it would be, but we're still moving in the right direction. At least we were. And then COVID whipped us on our butt, which is unfortunate because I was really like doing good. Um, and then a series of just bad stuff, and 2022 was just rough. But like I said, so 2023 it felt like it stabilized a little bit, and then 2024 it felt like things were kind of like, okay, we're getting back to slowly being ourselves. And like mentally, I'm trying not to tell myself that I'm trying to get back to who I was. I'm trying to figure out this version of me. Because I think a lot of times we're constantly trying to get back to older versions of ourselves that we are no longer those versions because we're not in those environments. We don't think the same way. And so like as much as I was so happy with like who I had molded myself into by like 2019, 2020. I also know that like I'm not there anymore. So I'm trying to figure out like where I am now, but get back to being a closer version of her because I liked her. Like she was slowly becoming that girl and I was enjoying her. So I want to get back to her. So like this year, thank you for tuning in. This year, I was like, okay, we slowly, like, we eased our way back into things. And this year, we're going pedal to the metal. Like, we're going to get back to being on it. Mandy, that did not happen. That lasted about a week into 2025. And then, unfortunately, there was a car accident in Liberia and my sister passed away. And it impacted me way more than I thought it would. Like, because we weren't that close. Like she was my sister in Liberia. I'm very close to my family here in the US. Like I'm obsessed with my siblings. I think they're the best people. But and I think now that I reflect on it, I think part of what hit me so hard, like I was expecting to not be impacted because we didn't have that strong of a relationship. But I realized what hit me so hard was the loss of ever being able to have that. Like I didn't realize I was grieving. I would still grieve a relationship, but that my grief would come from the loss of a relationship and no longer being able to establish that connection. So anyways, for like 2 weeks in January, I did nothing but like cry and watch BTS stuff, which is why I'm obsessed with BTS now. Because they were it was literally the only time I wasn't crying was when I was laughing at their antics. So I've trauma bonded to them. And then, yeah, it's been rough. So we'll cycle back to how things are going so far. But the first 3 months of this year, it was like I was just in like a standstill, just trying to breathe and survive. But I breathed and I survived. And now I'm like, okay, let's try living again. So that's the phase I'm in now. So we'll talk more about that phase later. But let me find out about your 2025. How's it been going for you?
It's so similarly to yours. I feel like I've gone through like a progression, really.
Mhm.
Like 2023, I felt really solid in like who I was, where I was going, what I was doing. And then 2024, it felt like work. And I feel like this is almost always the case. One or the other is going really well. And it's
Mhm.
never both at the same time. Where like work was completely falling apart, but my personal life was actually on fire, like in the best way possible. And then 2025 came along, and I've been feeling for months like I am about to experience a massive transition.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I know that it'll all be okay. I know that I will get through it and that like it's needed and it's the closure of one chapter so that another can start. But that feeling of uncertainty and like not knowing what's coming and what will be going and how that's all going to happen and unfold is like really unsettling to me. And I have like days where I'm like totally fine with it. I'm like, you know what? It's all going to be good. Like
Right.
it will turn out so that I am in a better place mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever, because it's what's needed. But it's also like, it's just scary, man, when you don't know how things are going to turn into whatever they're going to turn into and what that's going to be. It's, ugh, I don't like it.
Mhm. It's weird because it's like it's an unsettling feeling, but like because I feel like I'm in a transition period as well. Like I just feel like that's where I'm at. Um, but like I feel very much in control. Well, I'm also a control freak, so I tend to figure out a way to make everything come back to me. Like if something goes wrong, it's like, how is it my fault? If something goes, like it circles
Mhm.
back to me, which is good and bad. I'm very good
Sure.
with accountability, very good. But
Maybe too good perhaps sometimes.
a little too much sometimes. But like when I'm in this transition period, well, first let me ask you, like, how do you know, like, what makes you think you're in a transition period? What triggers you to say that?
Um, Part of it's just a gut thing. Like I just feel it. Some of it I think is like I'm starting to question a lot of the things that are in my life and a lot of like the people or relationships that I have in my life, and I'm starting to prioritize myself more, and I'm having more and more realizations that like what I do on the regular day-to-day basis doesn't necessarily make me happy. And it's not that they
Yeah.
make me unhappy necessarily. Like
Mhm.
But there's a difference between like doing the things actively day to day that bring you joy and
Yes.
not doing those things, or just doing the things that you need to do to get by. And I had like an existential crisis earlier today actually about like I don't even know what makes me happy anymore,
Mm,
because I've changed so much since I've thought about, oh, no, 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 I do this every day because I love it. Or I do this every
right.
day because it makes me so I feel free or I feel unburdened when I do these things. And now I'm like, I don't even know what that is anymore,
Right.
because I'm not the same person that I was anymore. Or like I don't have the same outlets that I used to. And they still exist, but I
Yeah.
haven't, they cost money that I now have to pay out of my pocket. It's not my parents paying the bill anymore. So that
That
makes it
part.
harder too.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's just all of these realizations and like this sense of unfolding, I guess. It's really the best word for it because it's not
Yeah.
unraveling. Nothing's
Yeah.
unraveling. It's just all unfolding, and I need to figure out what needs to go and what needs to stay and how to organize it back in my closet.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
on the shelves, we'll say, because
Mm.
I don't want to close the door and hide anything. I just want it to be like make more sense.
Organized. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. I feel like when I'm in my transition periods, I get this like just like this unsettled feeling. Like I know when it's my time to move, right? And I've always said like I wish I was one of those people who was content. I hate to use the word less, not that I want more, but it's like I wish that like I wish if life had stations, right? When I look at my life, I look at it as like a book or a movie, but like let's say it has like stations, right? There's been different stations where I wish I could just stay. Like
Yeah.
I wish like I just want to chill, right? Like even when I was back in corporate, there was a time where I was so happy. Like it was mundane as all heck, but it was good times. Like I loved my coworkers. It was in my 20s, so we were going out after work. I worked the late shift, so we went to the bar all the time after work, hung out, slept in, did whatever, went to work. My coworkers were good. Outside of work was fun. Like I was like living life and loving life. And then like at some point it was, well, I don't feel like it felt like it wasn't like that wasn't my station anymore, right? Like you said, like things started to not feel as fun anymore. And I felt like I was kind of like wandering a bit because well, I was one of those like hyper overachievers in high school. Like I was like president of all the clubs, did sports, did musicals, did AP classes. Like literally teachers wrote in my yearbook, stop burning the candle at both ends. Like I was one of those. um, but deep in my heart was also a party girl. So like when I got to Florida and I was free, I was free. I was like, yes. So I was like, no responsibilities. I'm just going to live life for me, especially because in my early 20s, I was in a serious relationship for 4 years, like played house. I realized I did not like playing house, but like did the whole thing because I was at that point checking off all the boxes, right? The boxes they tell you to check off in life. I'd done school. I'd done college. I had the corporate career. I had the great boyfriend. We had the house. We were thinking of getting married. I was checking off all the boxes. And I was where you are right now, where I was like, this is not making me happy. Like I checked off all the boxes. On the outside, people are loving my life. Like, you're doing so well. On the inside, I'm crying myself to sleep because like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, this is not making me happy. So sometimes I get those feelings and I'm like, okay, I know it's time to like change stations. And so like that was a major transition in my life. But then like in my later 20s, when I was, loving and living life, I was feeling like, not that I fully wanted to get back to the pain in the ass I was in high school, but I did want to go back to having a purpose. Like I've always felt like I was a person who was supposed to have like a purpose behind the things I do. I can't just do things. And like, yeah, banking was okay, but I really don't care about your overdraft fees. I don't care about the new banking products. Like this is not how I want to spend my time and this is not how I want to contribute to the world. So I really like took the time to evaluate like what made me happy, what I enjoy doing. Like if there was no limits, like what would my dream be? Like if I had to like close my eyes and picture my dream life, like what would it look like? And then what do I need to do to get there? Like I figured out like what do I need to do to bridge the gap between the two? And since then, because that conversation was that when I mentioned in like my late 20s, since then I've been sort of working towards that. And so I did that first big transition of like literally I built my career from scratch, like from nothing, having no experience just in banking. I created this entire like social media career for myself, just doing social media and also like on the digital content side of it, content creating side. And I love it and it's going great. But it's not the final stop. There are other things. And I lately have been at this spot where I'm like, okay, I'm just sort of like living. Like I'm just, like you said, doing like what I need to do to just kind of like get by, but I'm not living my best life because it's hard, like doing all the things. And the thing is, like, I love that you at any time can be whoever you want to be. I love that you at any time can think whatever you want and change your mind. And I feel like people don't realize how much control they have over their lives and their thoughts. You literally can decide you want to think about something differently and think about it differently. Like you have to put in the work, but you can think about it differently. You can literally decide you want to be a different person and change your personality if you work on it. And like I've done it to myself before, so I know I can do it. It's just so hard. And like reflecting on it lately, and part of this is also because of all the BTS, like watching their stuff through the years and seeing them grow and like all that stuff. I'm like, I wish I had more stuff to reflect back on during the last time I went through this. Like I wish, as I'm sitting here being like, I don't want to do this, but knowing that at the end of it, I'll feel amazing. I wish I could go back and watch old stuff. So like right now I've been doing a lot of that, like talking my way through it, like talking it out, talking like, okay, I'm going out tonight and I don't really want to go out tonight, but I know if I keep doing this, like eventually it stops being this thing I have to do and goes back to being this thing I enjoy doing. And I'm doing it because I know I enjoy doing it. It's just the transition part is so hard, but I like that I feel like I have control. So it's interesting that your transition makes you feel so very much out of control. And maybe it's like an adrenaline thing where I'm like, I wonder where things will end up. Like where you're like, oh my God, I wonder where things will end up. I'm like, who knows? Let's see.
It's no, so yes, and those are the thoughts that I have when I'm like, this is gonna be great. Right? Like this is gonna be good. I know that I need it. It's that you and I have talked about this phrase so many times. Like the caterpillar believes that the world is ending until it transitions into a butterfly.
Right.
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 And like that's what that feels like to me. Like there's a lot of pain of letting go.
Yes.
And like, you know, that like the transition itself can be really difficult. That doesn't mean that I'm not looking forward to what that transition brings.
I hear you. Yeah. Because there's always going to be that level of fear because you really, truly don't know what's on the other side. And I'm just trying to stay positive. Like, I hope I get to the end of it and I love all the work. Like, what if I get to the end of it and I'm like, oh no, this was the wrong path. I shouldn't have done that. That'd be terrible. But I'm hoping that I'm on that right path. And like, it just makes me feel, by the way, hi Vanity. I'm going to introduce you in just a second. Let me just finish this thought. But like, I hope that as I transition and like talk about it, that I am moving in the direction that I want to move and that is right for me. And I guess we will see when it comes to it, but I like having something to look forward to. And I like feeling back on track because like I mentioned, the first 3 months of this year were so hard for me. And what happened was I got to the March and realized like 3 major goals I had set for myself. I hadn't accomplished a single one and it sucked. It was a terrible feeling. Like I hated, like, yeah, sure. In the day to day of being frozen, I did things that made me happy, but I got to the end of it and didn't like where I was and was miserable. So I'm now for this quarter focusing on doing stuff, even if I don't want to do it in the moment, but knowing that I feel so much better at the end of it when I accomplish goals. So that's the mindset that I'm really trying to like force myself in, is like, it feels like life is a constant choice between like long-term happiness and current happiness, right? Like, do I do what makes me happy in the moment, knowing that it's not going to get me what I want long-term, or do I do what it's going to make me happy long-term, even if I have to force myself to do stuff I don't want to in the moment? Not that it's bad stuff, but you just don't want to. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
But
second
hello, Vanity.
Real quick.
Yes.
Really quick before I don't want to lose this thought. It's also really important to remember that when we are in an emotional crisis, wherever that comes from, sometimes we have to do what we need to do just to get through it.
True.
And there's absolutely nothing that says that we can't pick up when we're ready to pick it up. And it sounds like you're ready to pick it up and that it's time to move forward.
That's true. And I tried not to beat myself up too bad, especially because it was like with her passing that really did just like halt my world. I think sometimes I feel almost bad because we weren't that close. I feel like if one of my siblings here, right, in the US passed and I was like, it knocked me on my ass for 3 months, I don't think anyone would question it. Like people know how I am about my siblings, so I don't think anyone would question it. I think because it is a sibling that I wasn't close to at all, it almost feels to me like okay, really? Like she passed, you barely talked to her and you were knocked on your ass for 3 months. Like, come on. Like those are the things I tell myself. I'm like, but I was still impacted by it. I was still grieving. And so I've been trying to give myself grace in the fact that just because our relationship didn't look like my other relationships doesn't mean I'm not still allowed to have that grieving time. And it's okay that I took that time, you know?
Absolutely.
Hello, Vanity. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, yes, thank you for having me. Yes.
Absolutely. So for everyone joining, this is my other gal pal, Vanity. She's going to join us. Vanity, can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself? I had Mandy say like what she does for work, what she does for fun, and like a fun talent of hers.
Okay. Oh, yes, I saw Charles. He said we all
We
grieve
all
differently.
agree. We do.
Very true. It's very true. Well, what do I like to do? I like to speculate. I like to learn new things. I'm learning camping. I camped for like the first time, like in a long, long, long time. Just this past weekend, like Friday to Saturday. So that was like
Yeah.
really exciting. And I really love painting. I love painting and upcycling art,
Mm.
just changing what seems to be deemed as garbage into something artistic, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, just that's me. I
That's
love.
you. No, I love that about you. Like one of my No, I was gonna say one of my favorite things about you is like your thirst for knowledge and how open you are. It's one of the things that like poor Vanity, when I moved to Delaware, she was one of like the first people I met, and I'm one of those like vibes energy people, and I just like met her and I was like, oh, she's amazing. So then she was stuck with me since I moved here. I feel like Vanity, but she's so amazing. She's like there whenever you need to chat, when you need to talk, to uplift it. And one of the things I love about her is that she has such like this thirst for knowledge in life and is so open. And as someone who's constantly like asking questions, wondering, like I don't really think anything is as concrete as people make it. I love that she kind of has that same energy and like we can talk about things and be like, who knows? Well, what ifs? And those conversations I think are important to have. I think it's important to think about it because it helps your creativity. It helps your critical thinking, which this world needs way more of, critical thinking skills. So I like that we can have those types of conversations. So Vanity is my girl and I'm excited she's here. So Vanity, we have been talking about our 2025. I was saying that it's been a really rough roller coaster for me. The first 3 months knocked me on my butt, but April, I'm starting to kind of like pick things back up. And like right now I'm in a state of like transitioning, trying to sort of move my life to where I think it needs to go next. And I'm kind of going through the difficult transition process of like doing the whole faking it till you make it. Like that's really a thing. I think that
it is.
if there's one thing that I did to change myself, it was make myself live the life I wanted to live. Like when I said, what would my day look like if I was doing blah, 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 then I started living those days, even though it felt crappy or it felt hard or it felt uncomfortable. I just kept doing it until I distinctly remember standing in my kitchen one day, like in my like little satin robe, cutting my lemons. And I was like, wait, this is actually my life. Like I'm that girl, like like that person that I always wanted to be when I was younger. I was like, oh my God, I've done it. Like I'm the single girl in the city, living that life, walking around my apartment with my satin robe. Like it's like such a stupid thing, but I was like, I've really done that 180. And it's such a good feeling. And I'm trying to like get myself through that again to go to the next phase. So that's kind of where I am at. Mandy's going through transitioning as well. She is in the stage where she's sort of trying to figure out what is next. Like where I'm at, like I know where my goals are and I need to work on them. She's at the stage where she's like, okay, well, I've changed so much. What makes me happy? Like what like brings me joy? What do I want my days to look like? That's kind of where she's at. What has your look like? What has your year looked like and where are you at?
We laugh because we cry, ladies. We laugh.
I'm like, oh, if it starts with a laugh, we know it's been rough. If it's
right. I just, I love that meme. It's like two memes. Like, hey, it's the hey, look at us. The hey, look at us. Hey, you know what I mean? Like, I love that one. And the other one where the dog's in hell, and he's like, "This is fine." Like,
Oh yes, that one I see in my head daily. Everything's
I
fine. Every
know.
time I read like a headline, I see the dog sitting in the fire.
Right?
Like, everything's fine.
I've lost track of the number of times just today that I've said out loud to myself and or the universe, "It's fine. I'm fine. Everything is fine.
Everything's fine. It's like because
It's fine. I'm fine. Everything is fine. We're all gonna be fine. It's all gonna be fine."
everything. I mean, I'm in the space of that. Like, it's like we know so many things, right? But at the same time, it's like we know nothing at all kind of vibes.
Yeah.
And I feel as though I'm like, it's too much learning sometimes going on, too much processing. This constant worry of foreseeing future of politics and this, that. And I do a lot of community-based work. So working with the residents, a lot, and working with people. It's just, I'm just learning. I just appreciate the value of just being, of like not accomplishing anything. I'm just being. I'm like, I'm amazing just because I'm here with y'all right now. Like, we all amazing.
No, but like I love that. And I was telling Mandy earlier that like I have different stations of my life where I wish I could just stop, and I wish I didn't want more, and I wish I didn't want to change. And honestly, this is one of them, because I've worked so hard to transition my life to where it is. I do love my life currently. Like if I just wanted to keep things status quo as they are now, I could live and I could be happy. And I wish that brought me fulfillment, because I'd be chill, right? Like I'd have my job, I'd have my friends, I'd do whatever. And I wouldn't have to do these things that I don't want to do to get to this other place. But like, I love that you're in like a state of being, because that's it. Like that feeling, the little pocket of like, oh, life is good. Like I love that feeling. Like I love just chilling. That's my thing. People think I'm just super overachiever, literally only because I have to be. I really just love chilling. I love bumming, and not bumming, but you know what I mean? Like just letting life happen. Like not having to plan things, like just chill.
Well, like the sign next to or behind vanity, rest is sexy. Sometimes we just need it.
It is.
Things and this was a box from Aldi's, and I made it flat, and I'm not done with it. But this is one of the things I was painting. Yeah.
I love that.
But yeah, I'm just.
Do you ever feel stressed though, Vanity? Like, I don't know a lot about like, so I'm a child of an immigrant parent. So I'm, the immigrant parents and how they are like, you got to do. So I can't even escape my I have to mentality. Yeah. But like, is your ability to chill and not feel the need to accomplish something that you've always had with you, or have you had to work to make yourself that type of like not caring about the other stuff?
It's an every minute thing. Of course, I want to do everything at once. Of course, everything is an emergency. Of course, it's like we want to keep up with the Jonases. Everybody's doing all this moving, shaking, getting awards. Yeah. At this point, I just kind of realized like I had to look at myself and be like, is this authentic for me?
Right.
Like for me, I'm not rushing. I have goals when I'm 40, 45. When I'm 35, I'm becoming a DJ. I'm like, when I'm 40, I'm investing in commercial properties. Like I have these, but I phased it out. Everything is not an emergent, like everything's not a fire that I had to put out. And it's just like one of those things where I really grasp onto. But every minute of the day, I'm challenged with this mindset. Like it's so many things to do, especially with the work and working with clients and contracts and us. I'm not sure what you. I'm not sure like if you're also a business owner, Mandy, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's constant. It's just constant need for more and more and more. And even when you reach one goal, it's like the bottom of another mountain. I'm kind of
that part. Yes.
Yeah.
Celebrate. We gotta celebrate ourselves every step of the way. The fact that I sent those emails out, listen, I'm scheduling emails today to be sent out tomorrow. I'm celebrating. I'm like,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not that I don't experience things. I just refuse to. I just really think it's a play. This is a drama.
Yeah.
A big drama.
I always tell everybody I go through life like my life is a movie. Like I literally or a book because I write, but I literally have the mindset like my life is a movie and it's starring me, which people be like, oh, you're the center of attention. Like main character energy is not center of attention energy.
Yeah, it's your life.
Right. It's the story of your life. And if you aren't the main character of your life, that's a problem. So but I will even like literally say it like I do things for the plot. I will be like, I don't want to, but do it for the plot. Because I, for the longest, would be like, if my life was an True Hollywood story, like, would I like what was happening? Like, would I be okay with it? And like, That's led to some interesting decisions in life, but some good decisions in
Yeah.
life also. My life story, though, lately with all my reflecting, I'm like, you know what? It's not a bad story, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you though, Mandy, like, so you with your transitioning, right? Like
Mhm.
something you mentioned was not really like knowing like where your joy is and like what makes you happy and like what you want your day to day to look like going forward.
Mhm.
Have you thought of how you're going to figure that out? Have
Oh,
you
yeah.
like, or are you doing things to identify like what that is? Like, what does that look like for you?
One of my favorite books. Look, here's one of my favorite books I read all the time. Accent is Given, Abraham Hicks. And another one that's underneath here is everybody's favorite, Atomic Habits by
Oh, yes.
name. Spread over here. It's
I
over
haven't
there.
read that one. I need to read that one.
But the audio, there's a video. So it's a guy on YouTube. I'm a YouTuber. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I love listening to this guy, and he made a quick animation of like summarizing the whole book. And I'm
Mhm.
gonna shout him out real quick. It is Atomic Habits audiobook, but the guy, okay, Escaping Ordinary, BC Marks, and How to Become 37.78 times better at anything, an Atomic Habit Summary by James Clear. And literally it's less than 30 minutes, and he just, everything he says and summarizes, I listen to it all the time. So I'm the kind of
Yeah.
person that I love listening, like re-listening to things to make sure it resonates.
Mhm.
And giving myself grace. I know what it's like when I was really just doing all this, achieving success, but at the same time, it's just like I'm just a heart-driven person, and I just
Yeah.
refuse to be in this like all that corporate stuff and
I hate it.
thinking how people are and stuff. But when it comes to
Yeah.
like my flow and organizing that, I love me a Google Calendar. I love using Slack. I love
Yeah.
using tools that work for me in my life and balancing having a 9 to 5, being a business owner, moving back to Delaware. So for
Yeah.
me, it's figuring out and also allowing myself not to figure it out, both of those things, so but I
Yeah.
like
Finding that balance. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I found that like well, actually, Mandy, let me go back to my question for you first. With your transitioning and your figuring out what drives you, what your loves are, things like that. How are you trying to figure that out?
Like figuring out like new
Oh,
things.
Mandy. No, Mandy.
Oh, Mandy. I thought you said Mandy.
Mandy and Mandy sound
Mandy and
very
Mandy. I
Mandy.
know.
similar.
I told it.
Sorry.
I was like, what, Mandy?
Um,
Okay.
Amanda, please tell us.
Amanda. Oh, I'm in
Amanda,
trouble
please.
now. So okay. In the past, when I've had like professional transitions, it's always just kind of happened. And like in a way that's very organic, but didn't require a whole lot of thought. And then like I have that experience and I gain so much more insight about myself and like what I'm good at and what I'm not, or like what I really enjoy in that position and like what I would really like if I never had to manage another grant ever again, I would be so happy. Like that is a
I hear you.
fulfilling life path for me. But the other side of that is the jobs that I've had have been so general or like have had so many facets to them that there isn't like one thing that I've really developed in my career that I'm like, yep, nope, this makes sense. And then I'm just going to keep heading in that direction. But it's like I said, like I've been learning a lot about what I'm not interested in or things that don't fit me and like what I want or they're not fulfilling. And right now I work in enrollment and higher education, which is an adventure. It's never boring. There's always something going on. Everybody, like there's so much that's changing and evolving, and it's a very fast paced and like exciting field to be in right now. But it's also because of a number of external, like it has nothing to do with the institution that I'm at. Because of a number of external forces, it's incredibly stressful. And it feels like and because I work with graduate programs, I know that the folks that I am recruiting and bringing into their next phase, they're coming either because they want to make a transition to a new career or because their career path is kind of forcing them to go to a grad program.
All right.
But either way, like I know that I'm helping them, but there's been a sense of disconnect for me where I know that what I do helps them, period. Full stop. That's great. However, that's where it ends. And it feels very much like I'm the bridge, or I'm part of the bridge, the part of the thing
Yeah.
that's holding the bridge up, I guess. Like, and that's not enough for me anymore.
Mm.
And it was in the beginning, and it was a lot of fun, and it was a lot, but with the pressures of recruitment and meeting numbers and getting head count and like making sure that we're enrolling the people who are going to stay enrolled, which we can't, like,
Yeah.
life, man. These are grad
Right.
students coming from
Right.
every walk of life. Like,
Right.
I can't make any promises, and neither can they, but
Yeah.
it's time for the exploration of more for me.
Have you thought about so for me, when I did my figuring out, like, okay, I'm not happy with my life and I need to bring purpose back to it, volunteering was my first go-to way to sort of figure out like what I liked, what I didn't like, what organizations I wanted to be involved in, what causes, like figuring out like sort of my thing. Have you thought about maybe trying to do some of that to explore your other interest?
Yeah, so I've also considered, because there's a part of what I have done that's not actually part of my job over the last 3 years that I've been in my position, that I absolutely love. And it's like I'm an introvert who also connects deeply with other people. So when I am social, it's exhausting, and usually
Right.
in the best ways, but that
But
also
we're ambiverts. Yeah, for those who may
Yeah.
not know the phrase ambiverts, because everyone always talks about introverts and extroverts. Introverts are people who are like more quiet, and a lot of times people think like they're always quiet. They're not. They just get their energy from being alone and being home. Introverts can be very personable people. They can't really do like small talk and like BS as well as an extrovert can, but introverts can still be personal. They just get their energy from home and quiet time, versus extroverts who are more bubbly and outgoing, and they get their energy literally from being out. And then there's people in the middle like Mandy and I, and probably many others, where like we can go out and be sociable and fun, and we want to, like an extrovert, but it drains us. Like it drains us because we're actually more introverts. Like for every one outing I do, I need like 3 days home to recover because like it literally, and there will be times where I'm out where I will go from like 60 to 0. My social battery drops, and I go from being like, oh my God, hi, to like, get out of my face.
Yeah.
Like you just see me.
Yeah.
Like I am is it an Irish goodbye? Whatever the goodbye is, where you just leave, where you're just out. That's me.
Irish goodbye.
I'm sorry. I just let people know, like, I'm sorry. When my social anxiety drops to 0, like we have moments till I'm like freaking out. So I gotta go.
Yeah. Sometimes I can't, like, it mentally, like the Irish goodbye. I want to so bad from like almost every social situation.
Yeah.
That I'm in.
I say goodbye to like the host, but not. Yeah, I'll at least say goodbye to like whoever's in charge.
Yeah. Because I was raised in an Italian family and my dad's family is the same size, there are 35 to 40 people, like cousins, aunts, uncles, at every family function.
Yeah.
We have to say goodbye to literally every single person before we leave. So now, like, since I was a baby, so now like I have to, if I'm out somewhere, it will take me an hour to leave, which is not great when like your energy just plummets in 0.3 seconds or less, because you're like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Great seeing you. Goodbye. And like an hour later, you're in the car and you're like, I wish I could teleport right now.
I would advise trying to shake yourself of that, because I used to be the same way, and it's too much. It's like at some point I really had to, and I still have to do this. I've gotten rid of a lot of my people pleasing, but I still have moments where I have to remind myself that like almost every story has a villain, and sometimes that villain is you, and you have to be okay with that. Like you have to be okay with picking yourself, doing what's right for yourself in the moment, even if it makes you the villain in other people's stories, and you don't get defensive about it. There are people, if you talk to them, they'll be like, she's so fickle. They're right. They'll be like, she's so blah, blah, blah. They're right. Because that's the stage of my life I was in at the time that I met them, and I was choosing me. And sometimes that meant not showing up, and sometimes that meant leaving quickly. And like, I acknowledge that I'm the villain in their story and it stinks, but like you are going to be the villain sometimes, and you are going to let someone down sometimes, and you don't need to make that person you. That is the message I try to tell people all the time. Like if there's going to be someone let down in a situation, it doesn't always have to be you. Like you can pick yourself, even if it's going to make you the villain to someone else. Like, sorry, but that is, being selfish sometimes is okay. And so like with the goodbyes, that was one of those, because I would do the same way. And now I'm just like, listen, I said goodbye to who I needed to. and I'm out. And honestly, people don't think or care as much as you think they do, which is one thing that I love, that like as much as we think people care, people actually don't care. Everyone's actually really worried about themselves, trying to
Yeah.
figure, like the three of us here trying to figure out our own stuff. Like how much time do we really spend thinking about what other people are doing? And how much time do we spend thinking about what we are doing? And
Yeah.
literally everybody is like that. Everybody, like when I start to think like, oh, what will they think? Nothing, actually. They'll be too busy thinking about themselves. That's what they'll
Well,
think.
9 times
They'll-
out of 10, when we are thinking about other people and what they're thinking, we're thinking about how that thought or that action that comes out of that thought is going to
Affects
affect
us.
us.
Exactly.
It still comes back to us.
Yep. And I
That is
find that
totally
comforting.
Yes.
I do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want
Yeah.
people to pay attention to me. Like, do your own thing. Let me do my thing. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I sometimes really just enjoy being like part of the wallpaper.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
And then there are times when I can't be.
Right.
And that is absolutely like, okay, I think there are times when we really shouldn't be. And
Yeah.
then there are times when like it just either feels right or it's not the right moment or we don't have the right audience or we don't, like it's just it's not the time or the place.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, it's hard for me too, because like being in social media, what happens is like people have a very parasocial relationship with me. Like they see me on screen and they see me being like all parts of me and think like that's who they're gonna meet. And I'm like, listen, you guys are getting me home in my apartment by myself. You are getting me hanging out with my best friend myself. You are getting like all of that. Like I'm not like that. Like I in person am so like, unless I'm on as in you've hired me to host an event. Other than that, I'm actually quite quiet. I actually kind of want to be left alone. I just like to observe, but people don't think that's what they're going to get because of what they see on screen. So then they think like, oh, she's stuck up or she's like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, actually, I'm freaking out inside my mind right now and trying to calm the fuck down. Like, I'm not being like uppity. I'm really just trying like not to freak out. And I really just want things to be quiet, but people, and I've always had that. Like, I've always been one of those people, like most of my friendships were like, oh, I hated you at first and now we're best friends. Like,
I never hated you.
no,
Not
you
ever.
never did. But I find what happens is like there's something about my personality, and I've just had to come to accept this, is like because I am when I want to be like so bubbly and like, oh, like blah, 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 blah. But like that's genuine for me. But a lot of people bullshit that type of personality. And so
No,
for
there's
some
people.
reason, what?
I don't mean that like literally, but that drives me crazy.
It does. But like for some reason, I don't know why I give off the air that I am bullshitting it. And so what happens is genuine people tend to not like me at first. They think I'm full of crap. And then like fake people gravitate to me. Fake people love me. But then what will happen is the fake people will quickly exit when they realize I'm not on the same
It's not
BS as them. Because they want to be like, they want to talk crap or they want to do all this stuff. I'm like, oh no, I genuinely think good thoughts. I'm sorry. Like I'm not on the bullshit. But then what will happen is like the people who initially don't like me because they're real, we will spend time together and then we grow. And like literally my best friends, most of them are people who initially we didn't like, but it's because I am one of those real personalities who keeps it real, but I also am like that bubbly, like rose-colored glasses personality. Like I'm not faking it. I do see like the happier things in life, but I also keep it real too. So it's like this weird, and then social media has just effed it all up because now everybody thinks that they're going to get me who knows you really well when they meet me, and you don't get that unless you know me really well, or unless you're paying me to be that person at the event. So it's kind of hard. But like Vanity, I love, like I said, one of the things I loved about you is like your energy. Like, are you a full extrovert or are you an ambivert? And like, and how do you deal with social situations?
I just keep laughing. Oh, how do I deal with it? I definitely empathize with both of you. People put a lot of assumptions on me, and I always tell them it's like the Shrek movie. I'm like an onion. I'm like, it's lots of layers to this.
Layers.
And
Yeah.
I would say a lot of the times I am performing because when you're front facing people all the time, you have to perform. So I would say we're all performers. And when it's time to show time, I'm a performer, honey. So
Yeah.
I know when to turn it off, turn it on. And I'm very strong on marking people acquaintances, friends, and
Yes.
different things. So I'm an expert at being a cordial queen, at knowing how to manage. It's a game, and social capital is really big for me. So I know how to
Yeah.
play the game. You know what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say?
But
And I
don't you
think
also find it exhausting? That's my one thing about Delaware. Like, I like it, but oh my God. I'm like you. Like, I can be on and I can play the game, but really, I just hate it. Like, I can do it and I'll do it, but I hate
didn't say I liked it. Didn't say I liked it.
it.
Right?
But you
But
can
it's
do it.
I can do it, but it doesn't mean all the time. And I love that
Right.
I choose. I say no a lot.
Yeah.
I say
Yeah.
yes a lot. I do both. You know what I mean? But for me, coming back to Delaware and just maturing as a young, like us just growing, right? We
Yeah.
realize that it's actually better not to be at everything, attending everything. It's better to conserve your energy and being very intentional. So I would
Yeah.
say I'm very strategic with those kind of things, but I would never just say I'm an outright extrovert. That's exhausting. I definitely say,
Yeah.
I definitely say I'm an ambivert too, yeah, but if you see me and I'm being outgoing, I'm 99.9% of the time performing because
Yeah.
humans are always watching, so I always act
Yeah.
like they're recording me.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. And I think that you do have to do that. And because I don't want to is why I also stay at home a lot.
I get it, though.
I'm like,
get it.
please.
Get it,
But
I get it.
something you mentioned that I wanted to speak on is like you mentioned that you say yes a lot and you say no a lot.
Yes.
Now, with saying no, as I mentioned, I'm a people pleaser, always in recovery, and I really did have to go through like a year of forcing myself to say no. Like when I mentioned something I mentioned early on in this humanity is like I love how you have the power to change yourself and change your thoughts and change different things, and like I do that with myself. Like I'll pick little parts of my personalities I want to tweak or change, like. Because I think it's also good to know like what parts of you that you accept, even if other people don't like it. Like a problem for you with my personality is not a problem for me. I know my problems. I'll work on them. Like you are on your own.
Okay.
If you don't like it, walk away. But one of the things that I worked on for me was being able to say no. I would feel such guilt when I said no. I would feel like I was either letting someone down or like something was going to go wrong. And I had to, like I mentioned earlier, be okay with being the villain sometimes. And then also let myself know that it's not always being the villain. Like sometimes if you know you don't have the capacity for something, it's better to say no than to say yes and screw it up on the back end. And I had to go through some hard lessons with that happening where I said yes and I should have said no. And I realized that, listen, sometimes saying yes or sometimes saying no is the right choice because in the long run, you can't do stuff. So has saying no is it something that you like? I had to force myself to learn how to say no. Is that a journey you had to take, or have you always been good about like standing your ground and defining your boundaries?
I would definitely say it's been an ongoing journey for myself and very challenging at times. But I would say different. We just keep reintroducing ourselves to everyone. Like I've had to reintroduce myself to myself a lot of times this year. I'll be like, oh my God, baby, so we're awakening in this, we're knowing this, we're doing this. So for me, when it comes to that, I would definitely say it has been a journey. At the same time, when a lot of people can't clock exactly what's going on in my life, and a lot of people are just finding out I'm even back in Delaware or I'm doing this and that. So it's very interesting, the feedback. It's just like I love not being included. I love being like, oh, what happened? Oh, that's nice. Like, because I'm so self-absorbed that I think
No, I
everyone,
hear you.
and
I agree.
it's one of those things where I used to feel like, oh my God, I'm being left out. Oh my God, I got to be around these people. I got to do this, do that. I don't have those same feelings anymore. So it's just coming from a different place. Like I feel so good. Like I just be like,
no, that's good. I'm so glad we're talking because like literally I remember, not that I don't feel those things anymore. I do, but I remember feeling them more like where you're at right now, where I'm like, oh, I'm just good where I'm at in life. Like I'm ready to get back there. Mandy, what about you?
Right now. It can happen right. It can happen right now. Right now. Like, literally, it's just like, okay, like starting out, it's just like, it's done. It's done.
And just change. Yeah. And it's just a matter of how you see stuff.
Yes. Yes.
Amanda, how are you with saying no? And is that something you're okay with, or is that something you had to work with?
She's laughing. Look, she's laughing. I get it.
Listen, I got 2 dogs 6 months ago because, I mean,
you couldn't say no.
Didn't come out of my mouth, which I wouldn't change for the world. They are like 100% part of my life now, so I'm grateful for that. Yes, that was, but I definitely I've gotten better about. I used to panic yes to like everything,
Yeah.
especially when someone would put me on the spot. Like I ended up in more than one wedding party because I panic yesed
Hmm.
when the answer really should have been, you know what, let me think about it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because I like at one point I agreed to one when I didn't have a job.
Mm.
How I was going to pay for that, I have no idea. Like I figured
Yeah.
it out, but like that's a situation where like probably should have said no because I didn't have the money to support any of it,
Mhm.
including buy my dress. And like so I've gotten a lot more mindful of like the things that I'm saying yes to. I
Mhm.
struggle a lot with I'm going to say protecting my yes at work.
Mhm.
Especially because of the pressures that I'm under. And I'm not the only one under them. Everyone at work is under
Right.
them. Um, but there are things that like I know are going to be an absolute failure. Not because we're going to do a bad job, but because like people don't care. They don't want to show up. They're not going to show up. We're going to arrange this whole entire thing, spend weeks planning it, and literally have maybe one or two people register and then probably no show.
Mhm.
And like, it's stuff like that that I feel like I can't say no to because we need to be able to say that we tried.
Right. Yeah.
The problem is it still requires a lot of time and energy and like not just during the workday, but outside of work as well. So I work like 8:30 to 4:30. And then if we have a tour or an open house or an on-campus event that no one comes to, I'm there until 8. So then I'm working 8:30 to 8 and I don't get extra compensation for it and I'm exhausted and I've run home twice that day because I had to let the dogs out or feed them or whatever and like it's exhausting. And those
Yeah.
are things that I want to say no to, but feel like I can't. And it's
Mhm.
not like I'm just using work as an example because
Yeah.
it's like the thing that I
It's
do every
easier than getting
day
your
where
business.
like
Right.
it comes up
Yeah.
a lot. And that's okay because again, we need to prove that it's not working, right? Like you can't say it's not going to work and not do it because the one time you do that is the one time it's absolutely going to work and you're going to get a huge turnout for it and it's like going to be really really fruitful because that's just Murphy's law.
Mm.
But having like the data to prove that something isn't a successful effort anymore is very different than being like, yeah, no, people don't want that. Sorry, we're not going to do it.
Right.
So
No, that makes sense.
it's stuff like that. And like, but then because of that, like if we have this March and April are insane in higher ed because it's like the close of the recruitment cycle for the upcoming year. So it's just nonstop. Go, 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 go. By the end of April, we are all so tired and so burnout and so like just tell me what you need me to do at this point. Every single person working in enrollment feels that way because May 1 is the deposit deadline.
Yeah.
So after May 1, we're all like, okay, we can kind of breathe a little bit. But like that really allows me, like that feeling of exhaustion also helps me say no so that I have the ability to recharge because I spent 2 straight months being a people person when I am inherently not a people person.
Right.
Now
Right.
I'm exhausted and I need to shut down. And we were all talking about it together, like at the end of April. Like if we could all just shut everything down, not just take off work while the rest of campus continues running, because then that's not worth it. The stress that you come back to is outrageous. But like if the whole campus could just shut down for 2 weeks,
Right. If only.
everyone could take a break, everyone could relax, everyone could recharge. We could all go on a vacation with zero plans and zero obligations during that vacation. Come back to zero new emails and start fresh. We would all be like the most productive, happy, amazing to work with people on the planet.
Yeah, because rest is so important. I'm probably one of the few people who like loved quarantine because I loved that everybody was like home and safe and chill. We were all connecting virtually. I talked to my friends way more actually during that because we were so starved for connection. We were finding it where we could. And I love that. So yeah, rest is good. But I love talking to you guys. We could talk forever, but we've been talking for a while now. So I want to kind of wrap things up, but to end things, since we are having a 2025 check-in and we talked about like where the year has been so far and our plans for the next, do you have any last thoughts you want to share on like your mindset, your thought process, your vision, whatever it is for the rest of 2025? Like, what thoughts are you helping to pave your way through the rest of 2025? Vanity, we'll start with you.
Darling. Thanks, Charles.
Thank
Woo.
you.
You know, I'll leave it with this. And thank you so much for having me on the show. And it was a pleasure meeting you, Mandy.
You too.
Yes, we got to connect via IG, Facebook, whatever, LinkedIn too, don't matter.
Yes, please. All of the above.
Okay, yes. For me, the message is less is more. Your worthiness is so important to never forget how worthy you are just for existing, just for being. And it sounds so cliche and corny at times, but it's so real. Like worthiness are the foundation of how you feel about for yourself and the knowing that you have for yourself. That's all that matter, But yeah, that's it. Less is more.
I love that. I love that. What about you, Mandy?
I think I was trying to find an eloquent way to say this.
Just say it.
But I think my motto for the rest of the year should really be the only thing stopping me is me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think about I was just talking about take a vacation where you have absolutely no plans. I would love to get a giant Airbnb and get a bunch of people together and have zero obligations to do anything at all at any point during the whole entire trip. And if somebody's going to a bookstore and they shout out, "Hey, I'm going to the bookstore. Anybody want to come?" No, great. Okay, see you later. Do what you want. Do what's going to fuel you. And I don't know why I've never thought to do something like that before, or why I thought taking vacations was such a risk. The only thing stopping me from doing any of that is me. The only thing stopping me from finding a new path or finding my new happiness or my new joy or my new connection to whatever is me. I'm the only
Don't you love that feeling though? Doesn't it make you feel powerful? Dude, I can do what I want.
Yeah. And there's nothing is permanent except maybe a tattoo, but even those you can never move. So
exactly.
I mean, nothing's permanent. So you make a bad choice for yourself. You find out later that this isn't working. Change it. Make a different choice. Take a different road. Do something else. There's nothing that says that we need to stay in anything that we choose.
Yes. Facts. I love that. Snaps. My mindset for the rest of the year is actually, so every year or at least for the past few years, I have a word that I focus on for the year. And I use that word to sort of guide my path and make my decisions through the years and different times. So one year was boundaries, one year was pivoting, one year was no. So this year it took me a while, but I figured out that my word for the year is okay. As in, it's all going to be okay. As in, oh, you have a problem? Okay. As in oh, you want to go do something? Okay. I really told myself that my word for this year was going to be okay. As in letting things go by saying okay and telling myself everything's going to be fine and not stressing out by saying okay. And saying yes to things and doing more fun stuff by saying, okay, let's do it. So my mindset for the rest of the year is to do that, to follow through the actions with the words of everything's okay and rolling through life that way, making it okay for me because it's all okay. I'm okay. You're okay. We're all okay.
Okay. Yes.
And I think that's also a good way to end this. So thank you, ladies, so much for joining me. And don't click off when we go off the live because I need you for a second. So don't click off right away. But thank you so much, everyone who joined us. It is Mental Health Awareness Month. So make sure you're taking time to check in with yourself and check in with your friends, even your strong friends, just to say hi, see how they're doing. Let people know that you're thinking about you because you never know what people are going through. Thankfully, the sun is starting to come out. So people are starting to come out. I think some of us who suffer from SAD are also, and that's a whole nother thing we didn't even touch on, is the mental health stuff of it, that some of us do have actual clinical seasonal affective disorder, and that makes things harder to deal with as well. So if you're dealing with any of that, give yourself grace. Thank you for joining us. Please come back next week. I'm here every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Have a great day.